Okay, I'll share the screen and we'll chant the Mangala Charan, and then we'll continue discussion on chapter 9. Okay. We can see this. Let me just increase the font. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sopadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome you all once again. So we are discussing chapter number 9, and we'll continue from there. So just quick recap, even in 2 sessions we have just tried to go through this chapter 9, and we have just completed 2 slokas. So verse 1 and verse 2, those are very important, and we have just touched the verse 3 as well. So very important, because this chapter itself it says the most comprehensive knowledge, and Krishna is going to give the very most comprehensive knowledge. And how can we know it? Krishna says about 2 things. In verse 1 he says about Anusuye, because Arjuna is very he's not at all envious to Krishna. He is non-envious to Krishna, so he can understand this knowledge, right? And Krishna says that Jnanam Vijnanam Sahitam. So this knowledge and realization, both Krishna is going to give it, and by knowing that, what will happen? Yes, Gyatva Moksha Asubhat. So we'll get free from the material existence, right? And then we discussed about all this purport by Prabhupada's very well. Almost we have tried to cover everything from the Prabhupada's purport, though they are very long and very informative as well. And then in text 2 we discussed about how Krishna says that this knowledge is Rajavidya, Rajguhyam, Pavitram Idam Uttamam. These 8 features of this knowledge we give, a knowledge of bhakti, especially if you see, this is Rajavidya, the king of all knowledge. And also is being also, some devotee express that this also can be said as the knowledge for the king. It means how, because the earlier the kings, they were completely surrendered to Lord Krishna, and then they used to rule the kingdom as well, though they have completely surrendered to Krishna and they rule this, like Ramarajya. And Krishna earlier he gave examples to Arjuna as well, like about himself and about Janak Maharaj, saying that see, Janak Maharaj, he is completely liberated, he is complete on the platform of very elevated soul, but still he's performing his duty of being a king and ruling his kingdom very nicely. So you have to fight, you have to perform your activity, isn't it? In that way also Krishna has told earlier. And then it's Rajaguhyam. We understood how this is very confidential knowledge. It's the secret of all secrets. Then it's Pavitram, it's purest, and Uttamam, it's from transcendental. So Tama is darkness and Uttama is transcendental, right? And then the 4th one is Pratyakshavagamī. It's a direct perception of, direct realization of Krishna we can do. And Dharmayam is the best of all dharmas. This principle of dharma is to take shelter of Lord Sri Hari's shelter. And then it's Susukam. Susukam is performed very happily, very joyfully. And by happily performed, and it is everlasting. In everlasting, we discussed as well. And we also know that everlasting, see, imagine we chant the holy name every single day for almost 2 hours, and it's always ever fresh, everlasting, isn't it? No one ever get tired of chanting holy name. When we have this more and more relations with Krishna, we can chant more and more of that. It goes ahead. Prabhupada says 16 and above, right? So 16 rounds minimum, and then we realize Krishna, and that's why it's everlasting. And then we also went through the purport of Prabhupada's, very nicely purport and very elaborate purport as well. He explained about each words, because those are very, very important for us. And then in the third verse, we discussed about asraddha, right? So who cannot understand this knowledge? Those who are faithless, right? Because Krishna says there's those who are faithful, not faithful or faithless in devotional service cannot attain me. It's not easy to attain Krishna. Krishna can be attained by following the footsteps of Arjuna, being his devotee, being his servant, both, right? And then he says that therefore, very importantly, therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So being a faithless, it's not possible to attain Krishna. Krishna though spoke in chapter 8 that anyone remembers me, he attains my abode. But how to remember Krishna? So being a faithless, it's not possible to remember Krishna. And because Krishna is there within our heart, he understands very well what our intention is. How do we love Krishna? How do we think about Krishna? So in a similar way, just 1 second. I think there is some. Okay, right. That's all okay. So the point is how to remember Krishna. Without practicing it in our daily life, it's not possible to remember Krishna, right? And let's go on to Prabhupada's purport for this chapter, for this verse. It says the faithless cannot accomplish this process of devotional service. That is the purport of this verse. So earlier Krishna says that being non-envious, you can understand me, and anyone who is faithless, they cannot understand Krishna. They cannot understand devotional service. They cannot understand Krishna itself. Right. So how it happens? Faith is created by association of devotees. So very in the beginning, we can have small faith, and then by gradually associating with the devotees, by gradually associating ourselves with the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, with the holy name, what happens? The faith increases, and it goes in unlimited. So there is a two things very, very important. One is faith and one is belief. These both have, though it's sometimes said that both are similar, but there's a huge difference. So faith is one where it's completely fixed. We have conviction about that's what I know is perfect, completely perfect. Though I might not know everything about it, but whatever I know is completely perfect. And belief, it changes depending on our time, place, and circumstances. It may deviate as well, but faith, it never. Right? Faith is faith. This will we say firm conviction is faith. So then Prabhupada says about the unfortunate people, even after hearing all evidences of the Vedic literature from great personalities, still have no faith in God. See, these are called as people who are unfortunate. Though they hear about everything, they have some belief, they have conception. Yes, this is Bhagavad Gita is okay, spoken by Krishna, I believe in Krishna. But what next? Do we have faith in Krishna as Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita? No, isn't it? That's how it's not possible to understand Krishna unless and until we have faith. So faith is the very first step of devotional service. When a faith happens, then also we get Sadhu Sangha, and then we start Bhajan Kriya, and then Anartha Nivarti, and then Nishtha, Bhava, Ruchi goes ahead, right? So the first is faith. And how can we get the faith? Prabhupada says by associating with the devotees, right? And hence, those who are unfortunate or those who don't have faith in Krishna, they are hesitant and cannot stay fixed in devotional service of the Lord. So thus faith is the most important factor for progress in Krishna consciousness. Right. So faith is very, 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 very important factor. And Prabhupada gives another example from in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is said that faith is complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. See, what is faith? The definition of faith is that complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. As I was saying us earlier, faith, having understanding that Krishna is God, that's okay, that's belief. But when you have faith, it means what? Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Though I might not know everything about the scriptures and all the logical things, but I have full conviction that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that conviction is cannot be broken by anyone. That is called as faith. And what that is? So this line says, Prabhupada nicely describe this, what faith is: the complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. Right. So how to achieve perfection? All perfection just by serving the Lord. And how to serve Lord? Serve Lord by associating with the devotees, chanting holy name, associating with the Bhagavad Gita, chant, dance, and feast. Chanting, dancing, and feasting in the name of in the name of Lord Hari, Kirtan, and then eating Krishna Prasadam. Right, and that is called real faith. And Prabhupada again mentioned one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is very nice one. How can you understand that serving Krishna, it's actually achieving all perfection? It says yathataro mulo nishchena. What that mean is, just by giving water to the root of a tree, one satisfies its branches, twigs, and leaves. And by supplying food to the stomach, one satisfies all the senses of the body. Similarly, by engaging in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, one automatically satisfies all the demigods and all other living entities. And that's the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam as well. Right. So what it is, just by serving Krishna's lotus feet, as you know, just example, we have discussed this many times as well. Like, if we water the root of a tree, what happens? That the branches, the trees, the leaves, everything get nourished. Even like when we eat food, the stomach gets the food, and all the part of the body get nourished. We take an earlier example, like once what happened, just for analogy, the hand says, okay, I won't be going to any more work. The leg says, I won't walk, because whatever we earn, whatever we take, the only food take everything, and the stomach take everything. Nothing comes to us, right? In the similar way, mind thought, okay, I won't think anything. In the similar way, all the mind, the hand, the legs, all the senses, they stopped working. What happened? The person become in the bed. He can't move at all, right? And gradually, even he cannot, he has no strength, because he has no food. Strength is going away. And then all the senses, the hands, legs, and others, they thought, okay, look, let's go back and serve stomach. So when the food came into the stomach, though engage happened by our hand, then by chewing, the body get nourished. So by serving to Krishna's lotus feet, everything get nourished automatically. All the people, even though all the demigods and other living entity, will get satisfied. Right. In a similar, if you see this Gajendra Moksha Leela, in the Gajendra, the elephant Gajendra, what he says, my family people are there, but they are not able to help me, and only the one who can help me is Supreme Lord. And Krishna came in his 400 form, right, to save Gajendra. So that's how Prabhupada continues saying that, therefore, after reading Bhagavad Gita, one should promptly come to the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. What is that? That one should give off all other engagement and adopt the service of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. If one is convinced of this philosophy of life, that is faith. Right. So Then Prabhupada discuss about the three category of people, and then faith and others, right, in the whole purport. Let's move on over there. And again, Prabhupada also says about that here. Those who have no faith, even after hearing about Krishna and the excellence of devotional service, who think that it is simply eulogy, find the path very difficult, even if they are supposedly engaged in devotional service. So unless and until, even if you are engaged but you don't have complete faith, it becomes difficult. Right. Right. So what we need? We just need a small faith. Yes, whatever Krishna is saying is completely true, and I agree that Krishna is supreme person of Godhead, and let me engage myself in devotional service, and gradually we will see the faith will expand and expand and expand. Right. So here Prabhupada says that for them there is very little hope of gaining perfection because they don't have faith. So faith is very, very important. Right. Again, Prabhupada repeat the faith is very important. So that's complete the first section of this chapter 1 to 3, where Krishna says about how this knowledge is very, very confidential, and how to understand this knowledge. We should have complete faith, and we should be non-envious towards Krishna. Not about only just Krishna, about his devotees, and about his discussion in Bhagavad Gita, all that as it all, what he's saying. Okay, we'll go on to text 4. Let's try to repeat it. And from text to 10, the next section comes, which is called as Aishwarya Gyan. Krishna is going to explain about how Krishna is related in this world, or how Krishna creates and destroys and everything happens in this world through his energy. Right. So please repeat after me. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagata avakta murtina mat sthani sarvabhutani na chaham teshu avasthitah maya tatam idam sarvam jagata avakta murtina matasthani sarvabhutani na chaham teshu avasthitah. So he says, Maya tatam idam sarvam avakta murtino matasthani sarvabhutani na chaham teshu avasthitah. So what is saying, by me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. And all beings are in me, but I am not in them. So Krishna is pervades everywhere in an unmanifested form. Right. So he is saying, I am in everything and all pervading. And however, he is in the form of unmanifested. Right. However, the devotees, they can understand Krishna, that Krishna is everywhere, isn't it? They can see Krishna as the nature is also Krishna, but Krishna, the living entity, is actually active because of Krishna as present as Paramatma. Though we can't see Paramatma, but we understand that Krishna is there in that way. So this is how the exalted devotee, they could see Krishna everywhere, everything. Right. So let's see, and by studying the scriptures, we can understand how Krishna is actually pervading everywhere. In every living entity, Krishna is there. How his energy is actually forming this whole universe. How Krishna is providing all the ingredients for creation of this whole universe. Lord Brahma creates everything, but everything is provided by Krishna himself. Right. So let's see. Prabhupada starts saying that how to perceive Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. And how to perceive it? Krishna says, Prabhupada says from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Atha Sri Krishna Nam Adi, Na Bhavet Grayam Indriya, Sevan Mukhe hi Jivado, Swayam Eva Spritayadha. Swayam Eva, it means what? It manifested by its own. It comes to by own. How? When we do Sevan Mukhe, when we start serving Krishna. Jivado. Let's see. So Lord Krishna's name, fame, pastime, etc. The Sri Krishna Nam Adi, the first line, cannot be understood by material senses. Na bhavet graham indriya. So we cannot understand Krishna's name, form, fame, pastimes, etc. by our material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance, he is revealed. Automatically, he gets revealed. Right. So that's the process of understanding Krishna, understanding how Krishna is perceived everywhere. He's pervading everywhere just by serving or acting on devotional service under the proper guidance of his spiritual master. Right. That Krishna already spoke in chapter 9 as well. And Prabhupada quotes from Brahma Samhita as well. This verse, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Viroshanena. So one can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, always within himself and outside himself, if one has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for people in general, he is not visible. Right. So for people in general, it's not visible. And for the devotees, devotees understand that whatever is happening with me or his world, actually somehow or other is a will of Krishna. And Lord Brahma says, without the will of Krishna, even not a single bit of grass can move. Right. So Krishna is pervading all where, but it's not visible to our material senses. Right. And then Krishna says, Matasthani Sarabhutani, all living beings are actually within me. And even they are maintained by me. They are dependent upon me, isn't it? And they are based on me. So all the living entity are actually within Krishna. And we are all dependent on Krishna. See how we are dependent on Krishna? See the sunlight. From where are you getting sunlight? No factory is manufacturing sunlight, right? Forget about sunlight. What about breathing? The breathing process happens automatically. Who is maintaining this? It's Krishna only. So that's how we can devotee can understand Krishna's presence. However, it's for people in general, it's not visible. You can't understand these things, right? But Krishna says, I am the cause of everything, but I am not in them, right? So Krishna is not within it, but Krishna is the source of everything, right? So, and Prabhupada says again that yet one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. So as Krishna says, I am all pervading everywhere in this world, it doesn't mean that Krishna has lost his personal existence. So how to understand this point? So Krishna is there in every living entity as super soul. So Krishna is pervading in this material world as through his energies. But Krishna is actually also present in his own abode as Bhagavan. So through his energy, we will see it. Krishna says that Maya Dakshana Prakriti Suyada Sacharacharam. In this chapter also we will see this verse very soon. But Krishna says this all cosmic manifestations actually working under my instructions. Right. So in this way, Prabhupada mentioned very clearly that yet one should not conclude that because Krishna is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. No, Krishna's energy is working. Right. We can understand this example very nicely by Prime Minister. Right. So under direction of Prime Minister, all the other ministers, they are working, isn't it? But the Prime Minister is always not present personally in their affairs, right? He may be giving some instructions or he's working through energies, but he's not personally present in each and everywhere. So he has not lost his personal existence by spreading out himself all, but he's working. He's above all. So that's how Krishna is above in the spiritual world as Bhagavan, and through his energy, his different energies, everything is working, and very nicely is working, right? That's how. So Krishna is spread everywhere. At the same time, he is not within it. Krishna is in his spiritual world, in his world, right? So that's why, to refute such an argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. And Prabhupada says that to refute this conclusion of some philosopher, Krishna himself says that I am aloof of everything, right? And Prabhupada gives example nicely, the same example, like, a king heads a government, which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energy of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. But still, one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally, right? Though this is that is a crude example. However, similarly, Krishna presents in every living entity as super soul. Krishna is acting in this material world through his energies. At the same time, Krishna is present as Bhagavan in the spiritual abode as well. So there are so many different energy of Krishna, and he is actually pervading everywhere. Right. So this is the kind of knowledge what Krishna is going to give us. And why can't we see Krishna? Isn't it? Krishna says here, isn't it, that in unmanifested form is because people cannot see me, is because, unless and until we get purified, we purify our senses by engaging our senses in Krishna's service, it's not possible for us to see Krishna, right? So, and we understood about how to purify the senses, this by engaging ourselves in devotional service, right? Okay, so let's take another verse. Please repeat after me. Na cha matasthani bhutani pashya me yogam aishwaram bhuta vrin nacha bhutastho mamatma bhuta bhavanaha nacha matasthani bhutani pashya me yogam aishwaram bhuta vrinna cha bhutastho mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. So, as I can contradict with what Krishna said earlier, behold my mystic opulence, and pashya me yoga aishwaram. So Krishna is going to see this Krishna's inconceivable mystic power. So is saying Arjuna, behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all the living entity, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is a very source of creation, as we discussed. So Krishna is the source of everything, although he is aloof of everywhere. Krishna Prabhupada already cleared this point in the purport itself, right? Giving example of how the king and his energy works, right? So Krishna, let's see the purport. So though everything rests on Krishna himself, but still Krishna is aloof of everything. He's not. It means what? He is not actually attached of it, right? He is not attached of what he has created, right? So we may understand in this way, like, when we create something, we had so much attachment to that, isn't it? When we take a job and we buy our home, we get attached to everything. However, and we'll see about where Krishna is going to destroy this. He says, by my energy, it all get destroyed as well. So Gauranga Dasya Prabhu was saying, creator cannot be a destroyer, isn't it? So, however, and the point is, Krishna, though he's create everything, but he's not attached to this material world, and that's why he is actually aloof of everything, right? So, uh, even I think Prabhupada says that Krishna is he is always attached in the spiritual world, not in this material world, right? So let's see the purport. And Prabhupada explains this again by giving example of Atlas holding this. So the Lord says that everything is resting on him, Madasthani Sarva Bhutani. This should not be misunderstood. How? He says the Lord is not directly concerned with the maintenance and sustenance of this material manifestation. Sometimes we see a picture of Atlas holding a globe in his shoulder. He seems to be very tired holding this great early planet. Such an image should not be entertained in connection with Krishna's upholding this created universe, right? He says that although everything is resting on him, he is aloof. The planetary system are floating in space, and this space is the energy of Supreme Lord. But he is different from the space. He is differently situated. Therefore, the Lord says, although they are situated in my inconceivable energy, the Supreme Presence of Godhead, I am aloof from them. So everything is actually working under the energy of Krishna, right? And that's how this is Krishna's inconceivable opulences of the Lord, right? So Krishna is actually within everything. Krishna is outside of everything. How Krishna is outside? If you see this cosmos creation, we see earlier, like from Mahavishnu everything emanates, that all the universes comes up, and he expands as Garbhodakasha Vishnu, and from in each universes he is present as Garbhodakasha Vishnu, and from each universes there is innumerable living being comes up, and then Krishna expand himself into every living being as Sridhakasha Vishnu, and at the end, so Sridhakasha Vishnu is basically within us, but an annihilation, he comes back again into Garbhodakasha Vishnu, and then when complete annihilation happens at the end of Brahma's life, whole universes goes back into body of Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is already there outside, and inside he is there as super soul as Sridhakasha Vishnu. So the similar way, Krishna is inside, Krishna is outside. Everything is resting on Krishna, but still Krishna is aloof of everything. Right? Everything happening from the body of Mahavishnu, but he's away. He's actually residing in this spiritual world, enjoying, isn't it, the pastimes with the devotees. Right? So that's how Krishna is source of everything, but still at the same time he is aloof. Right? What's the time? Okay. Yes, so I'll read this last thing and we'll go to chapter verse 6 possible. So Prabhupada says that simply by supreme will, everything is created, everything is sustained, and everything is maintained, and everything is annihilated. So this whole world, just by the will of Krishna, Krishna doesn't have to come and fit all these bricks to make the house, or it's not like that. So Krishna is just by his will, everything is created, everything is sustained, everything is maintained, and everything is annihilated just by the will of Krishna, right? And there is no difference between his mind and himself. So as there is a difference between ourself and our present material mind, because when I give this body, we get another body, but Krishna is not for Krishna, because he is absolute spirit. So similarly, the Lord is present in everything, yet the common man cannot understand how he is also present personally. So he is personally present in his spiritual abode. He is already present within everything through his energy. That's how is called Achinta Veda Ved, or inconceivable energy. Krishna is there, right, and everywhere, and Krishna is outside everywhere as well. And he is different from the material manifestation, yet everything is resting on him. So through his energy, right? And that's how he says this is explained here as yogam aishwaram. Behold my mystic opulences. Krishna says the mystic power of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right. So, okay, we'll see chapter verse 6. It's possible we'll continue discussion. Otherwise, we will discuss next week. But let's try to see verse 6 as well. Yatha kasha sthito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan tatha sarvani bhutani matasthanite upadharyaya yatha kasa sthito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मतस्थानेति उपधार्यया. So text 4 and 5 speaks about how Krishna is pervading everywhere, at the same time is aloof of everything. And in text 6, Krishna is actually explaining an analogy, an example how it happens. So how to understand that Krishna is actually aloof of everything, though he is there in everything as well. He pervades, but he is still aloof. He gives an example to make it more clear for us. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere, rest always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. See, the wind actually can flow anywhere, isn't it? He can blow anywhere from wherever he likes, he can blow. No one can stop wind, isn't it? Even a storm comes, it can actually destroy everything. If there comes in any big buildings, it actually can destroy everything. The trees can be destroyed. So no one can stop this blowing of the wind, right? However, they have some limitation, isn't it? It cannot cross the sky, isn't it? The ether of the sky, they cannot cross the sky. They roam here everywhere. In the same way, Krishna says that every created being are actually resting in me, and they have a limit, right? So let's see. The purpose says that for the ordinary person, it is almost inconceivable how the huge material creation is resting in him. But the Lord is given an example which may help us to understand. The sky may be the biggest manifestation we can conceive, because from sky everything we can see here. And in that sky, the wind or air is the biggest manifestation in the cosmic world. The movement of the air influences the movement of everything. Even we are speaking, is actually speaking because of the movement of air, isn't it? But although the wind is great, it is still situated within the sky. So the wind is not beyond the sky. Similarly, all the wonderful cosmic manifestations are existing by the supreme will of God, and all of them are subordinate to that supreme will. As we generally say, not a blade of grass moves without the will of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, everything is moving under His will. By His will, everything is being created, everything is being maintained, and everything is being annihilated. So still He is aloof from everything, as the sky is always aloof from the activities of the wind. And also, sky cannot touch the wind. The wind cannot touch the sky as well, right? It's not attached to that. It's actually everywhere moving. So that's why Krishna is aloof of everything, isn't it? So that's how Krishna tries to make this more clear. The first two verses, chapter verse 4 and verse 5. Okay. Another Prabhupada mentions about from Brahma Samhita. He says this is the description of the movement of the sun. It is said that the sun is considered to be the one of the eyes of the Supreme Lord, and that has immense potency to diffuse heat and light. Still, it is moving in its prescribed orbit by the order and the supreme will of Govinda. So from the Vedic literature, we can find evidences that this material manifestation, which appears to us be very wonderful and great, is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. that will explain further. Even the text 7 and text 9, I think 9, no, the text 10. Text 10 speaks about everything about that. So that's how we discussed till chapter text 6, how we understand Krishna is everywhere, though Krishna is aloof, and how everything rests on Krishna, but still Krishna is above everything, right? So, and we'll continue from this section of this discussion in our maybe on this Monday. I will continue from text 7 until text 10, where we'll try to finish this section where Krishna is going to say is how Krishna is related or relationship with all this middle cosmos. Anyone have any questions or thoughts? Please let me know. We can discuss. Hope it's not getting confusion. But if there is any confusion or doubt, we can actually go back through the purport of Prabhupada, and this nice purport Prabhupada is given for this chapter, and we can definitely go through those again to get more clear understanding. Okay, if there is no question, then we can stop it here. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
jai.